All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to this episode of Bullets, Barbells, and Barbecue. I'm your host, Brett. Chris is back, the artist formerly known as Heavy C.
The overweight lover.
we got Matt here. And we got Tanner the Head.
We missed you last week, Chris.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was. We cried a lot. It was very detrimental.
There was no good hair in the whole room that day.
No.
I can always bring something. At least it's the hair.
Yeah. We're talking about our show partners, Elite Nutrition Omaha. Go to elitenutritionomaha.com. Use B3 at checkout for 10% off. Or you can yell B3 in the store.
Get a free shaker.
Also, we got Rosewood Block Company. Make the best barbecue cutting boards in the game. We have ours front and center here. They do all custom. Or they have standard ones you can order. But either way, use code B3 at checkout. Get 10% off. And it's not really a show partner. We have a large amount of Golden Sheaf bourbon on our table right now that I feel like we should get a partnership with. Yes, hopefully a future show. If you haven't listened to our episode with Golden Sheaf owner, go check that out.
It was a good episode.
It's a really cool story.
Yeah. There's 2 episodes of a quick synopsis before it was basically started here in Omaha.
Before Nebraska was formed.
Yeah, before Nebraska was a state. It's the 3rd largest distillery in the country. We're doing like 13,000 gallons of bourbon a day or something like that. Yeah. Shut down shortly after Prohibition.
1920.
Yeah, then he relaunched it in 2020.
Yep, 100 years later.
Yeah, and so he's got a bunch of different awards, all kinds of stuff. You can check him out, though.
And the 4 bottles, if you're looking online, if you're on YouTube or whatever, and you see it, the 4 bottles, these are all 4 different.
Well, because it's cool what he does. Like, if you buy a bottle, every different batch he blends himself, so they're all going to be different.
Yeah.
But I think it'd be cool if he did a cool idea if he brought back the original recipe that he won the awards on and just use that as a staple.
Well, he talks about doing that, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that what he's trying to do?
The original recipe, he won some awards on, but he won like his big awards doing these small blends.
I thought, he took second in like the giant competition. The first one he entered with the OG.
But I think still have like a staple product is like
I think he mentioned kind of doing that.
Yeah, just having one staple and then the rest are just you're just freeballing it and doing whatever you want to do.
Yeah, it's cool.
Right, and it's cool that you have like I really like that the bourbon whiskey batch number 2 that we had when he was on. I thought was really good, but it's like it's not in stores anymore, so it's like gone. You're like, oh fuck! But these others are pretty good.
This one over here, which one is this?
That's
bourbon,
the barley
batch 3.
Yes,
Bottle 300. There are only 400 bottles of this one. Bottle 300 or 400, and this one has the finish in barley wine and maple syrup cask. This is really good.
Yeah, that one was like really cool. And I don't know, I'm not a huge bourbon guy.
Becoming one though,
right? Because like when he was talking us through like how to drink it, and I've had friends who told us like, oh, you got to do this and wait and stuff. But this was the first bourbon that I've really noticed where you take that first drink and I just know that first drink's gonna be real hot and be like, whew, and then you like wait 15 minutes and then you get to like actually experience what the drink is like and you get some of those flavors and stuff out of it.
Well, my wife, and she does not drink whiskey or bourbon. And I told her that. And she took the first one. She's like, oh, fuck. I'm like, just wait 10, 15 minutes, try it again. She's like, oh, that was way better. I'm like, yeah, like that's a lot of different flavors. You know, flavors that your palate's not used to. Like in that burn, like you're just not used to that. So you just got like, here you go. Take 10, 15 minutes, chill out. And
That's aggressive
try
at
to
the start.
Yeah.
It is pretty aggressive at the start, but you can't. It is very flavorful. I mean, it's just not that hot burn that you get from whiskey. You know, it's actually got some tones to it.
Yeah, no, he's doing good. And if you're in the Omaha area, he's got quite a few places you can get it from. I know a good majority of the Hy-Vees carry it online. I know he says a bunch of places.
When on 90th and Center has them for $100 a bottle.
Yeah,
there you go.
And it is a little more expensive, but he wanted it to be a top end, top shelf whiskey, and
it's definitely worth it. I've never felt shitty drinking it like the next day.
Like I haven't drank a whole bottle yet, but
unfortunately, this is going to air after Christmas. But you can always give a late Christmas gift. Go to Hy-Vee.
You can
or pick it up for New Year's.
New Year's gifts. There you go.
Be the
cool
pinky up kid at the party.
Yeah, be the freaking cool kid there.
Yeah, at least if you're going to get hammered on New Year's, it's off $100 bottle of bourbon.
Yeah. And one of these would definitely fit in a front jacket pocket.
Yeah.
Just totally roll around with that.
And I believe most of these are a minimum 110 proof.
Yeah.
So I think if you get halfway through a bottle on your own, you're probably going to be hammered.
This is that's 114.
Yeah,
right
114.
Just don't fall
There's
asleep
115, I think.
Yeah, just don't fall asleep. Well, yeah, don't fall asleep outside.
Well, and he was.
And you know what? Don't drive drunk.
Yeah, don't drive drunk.
Yes.
Yeah, there's fucking Ubers.
Yeah.
It's not like when we were growing up and you had to like like I grew up in Lincoln, like 21, waiting for a cab for 3 hours, and you end up
Dude, try to
driving.
be in a small town where there aren't cabs. We just found the least drunk person to drive home.
Right.
Yeah.
I was watching a Ron White stand up the other day, and they're like, "We need a designated driver. Ron, can you drive?" "I can. I just can't get pulled over."
Fuck me. We were out one night, and my buddy's like, "I'll be the DD," and I got me and there are three of us out. Like 2 of us were fucked. Like not the DD.
Hell
The next morning, fucking wake up. He's like, "How'd we get home last night?" I was like, "You drove us, fucker." He's like,
No.
"How'd you let me drive?" I'm like, "I was hammered. You said you were the DD."
It's like Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah.
It comes out the next morning, and that Lamborghini just mangled.
The vision of how we got home, like all nice and careful, versus the reality.
Real life.
I'm hit cerebral palsy mode. That's what he says in that part. He's coming. He's drooling and everything. That part. The first time I saw that, I laughed so hard I think I almost passed out. That was a pretty funny part of that movie.
Speaking of potential show partners, I think Mate Church should be a show partner as well.
Yeah, we
Because-
use a lot of their stuff.
I mean, we
We
got to
do.
vet him out, make sure that he's worth it.
So I was at Shields last night, and there's this younger couple like looking at different things, and he's like, "This guy's like, they're just like, there's so many things. Have you been to Shields? Like,
Yeah.
there's so many. Like you're. Just lost.
There's also so many people at Shields at all times.
Oh God.
And so
I-
many people working there.
Yes, but like if you need to find somebody to ask a question or two at Shields, there's always someone there.
Yeah.
There is.
And
Helpful
they're
smile.
helpful, and they're not like they know what they're talking about. Like, yeah, if someone's over by the department and you have a question about something, like they're knowledgeable about that,
Yeah.
which is just impressive. Because most of the time you go anywhere and they're like, "Hey, what's this?" Like, I don't fucking know.
Yeah, I worked at a grocery store.
gotta
I was
find
not
the
helpful.
Old guy in the back that's been working here for 20 years to help
That's
you with this.
The hardware store guy. Like you go to Home Depot, I look for like the dude who's probably like 55 to 70.
Yeah.
Because like he knows shit.
And he used to be a contractor, and he still smokes like a carton of Reds every
And
day.
Home Depot guys are like usually know their shit.
Yeah. If you find
Lowe's guys
yeah.
are pretty decent. Some Lowe's guys, if you find the old
Yeah.
guy at Lowe's, he's pretty decent.
Yeah.
Some of the young guys are dipshits, but I was over there and he had the voodoo. I said, "Oh, that's freaking good." I said, "You should get that." And I said I grabbed the the fire shower. I was like, "You should put that with it." And him and his girlfriend were like, "You look like you sound like you know what you're talking about." I was like, "It's fucking good." Like, so they
Look
bought
at
it.
this Adonis physique. Of course
Yeah,
I do.
look at this.
Also, Shields has everything, but they do have a very nice bathroom. I think we should start a bathroom rating systems because a lot of us have shit in a lot of weird places. Shields does have a pretty solid, clean bathroom.
As far as gas stations go, I feel, and I don't think are they even around anymore? Come and Go had a pretty decent bathroom.
Come and
I
goes are
think
still
the
around.
Yeah.
Anderson Amico up here on 96. It's probably the best one I've been in a while.
So
as gas stations
did
go.
something happen in
Like if
Omaha?
you're going to rate it with poop emojis,
I mean,
5 being good and 1 being bad.
that's a 5 up there right now.
Wow. 5 poop emojis
You got to get in there, check it out.
I went to the brand new QT out off 144th and Center,
Yeah.
and I'd give that a 5. The 5 poop emojis too.
Five poop emojis.
Yeah, it was clean.
You just got to stay away from the gas stations with games of chance. There's probably somebody in the bathroom, hitting a bubble pipe.
Did something?
So
Did something happen? Did something happen in Omaha to where like they had to like spread out the gas stations? It's like it felt like everything was a fucking Casey's for a while, and now it's like those Andersons are popping up everywhere, and then
well, I think all
those
the Buc-ee's got bought by the Casey's.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then,
So
but then
then
Anderson
there's
kept a
no-
couple, right? Because he owned them before.
I think he only kept the original one.
Yeah.
The one down on 48th and Dodge. Is
Anderson?
no,
Yeah.
the,
The one on
original
144th.
Buc-ee's.
Oh,
the
yeah.
original
Buc-ee's,
Buc-ee's. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like those Andersons are popping up. There's one over by my store. They have a freaking crypto ATM that you can just like put like money in and like
Yeah.
buy Bitcoin out of it. And then they also have like an Amazon locker. It's like every weird fucking thing you could get to is.
I bet their bathrooms are 1 poop emoji.
No,
High level.
It was decent. Yeah, they're not
QTs
bad.
have Amazon lockers now too, I've noticed.
Do they? Yeah.
Yeah, outside.
Yeah, I think we
That's
could
weird.
add a poop reviews.
Yeah,
for
we should.
bathrooms.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do some research over the next weekend.
Even out of states. I've been to some pretty rough out of state ones too.
Yeah. Fucking.
That Publix one, we got judged at that Publix one when I had to shit there in Nashville.
Yeah, it was a single shitter though, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
No, wait. No, was there two? There was a single shitter and the men's
So the part that was nice is I pooped in the because it's the handicap and shitter stall all in one, and they had a sink in the stall with you. That was nice, except that everybody kept ripping on the door.
Who's in there?
Yeah. So that part was rough because then they're all in line and they know who you are coming out.
Yeah. You're like, yeah,
But
there
yeah,
you go.
for cleanliness, I mean, it wasn't great, but for like usefulness, I'd give it like 4 poop emojis. And that is the Publix by
The hot chicken place.
What
What was the name of that hot chicken
Did I
place?
just lose it?
Oh fuck! I know which one. It's the famous one down there, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Why did I just lose the name? But yeah, it's right by there.
Right across the street.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we waited there to see. It was pretty bad because we waited to see people's reaction after they went in after you. One guy comes out, and he's like,
His eyes big.
His face like.
So you guys just stood outside the bathroom and like,
It was a
watch people
distance.
go
Well,
in.
there was multiple people that had to use the restroom.
but you guys were just watching like, well, let's see what this motherfucker looks like when he comes out.
Yeah.
Hattie B's. Fucking Hattie
Got it.
B's.
Yeah.
Nashville hot chicken.
There you go.
Yeah.
got that
after
delayed
Chris and I
response
drove
there.
around angrily for like a half hour trying to find a parking spot, you can park in the Publix garage across the street, by the way, if anybody's wondering and listening.
Listen, we had.
I feel like
we
the
had a
loading
sweet
emoji
minivan.
or the loading thing was just going above your head as you were coming up with that name.
Yeah. We did have a sweet minivan. But yeah, if you ever, that Publix, it's okay. So Nashville Publix, I'll give it like 4 poop emojis for usefulness.
There's probably a couple photos up in there. Don't let these.
Yeah,
people in
we're
here.
probably not welcome back.
Yeah, destroyed our bathroom.
Well, but then after you come out, the guy goes in after you. Then the person who goes in after them thinks it's him.
Yeah, I've had that happen on an airplane before, and I came out and I was like, dude, that was not me.
Yeah.
Airplane bathrooms, negative poop emojis.
You
They're
can't
the,
poop.
They're the worst.
I don't know.
I don't
how
even
you-
like to pee in the airplane bathrooms.
Have you actually shit in an airplane bathroom?
No, I think I have to back in and walk. People would know I was doing it because I'd have to back in and walk out.
Yeah, there's no fucking way.
You shit in one, didn't you?
You might be able to fit in an airplane bathroom, Chris.
I can fit in there, but I've never actually had to poop in one.
Well, you can put your
feel
head
like
like on the wall while you're peeing.
I feel like I've made a lot
Yeah.
of bad decisions.
We talked
in
about
my
that.
day
I
if
even
I'm
have my
shitting in
butt
the
cheeks
airplane
against the
bathroom.
door.
and my head
And
resting
pee
against the
in front- yeah.
fucking the
The wall behind
Well,
it.
yeah, my head's still
like
like off to
front,
the
like you
side.
can lean, like you can lean in, like the
Yeah.
fucking thing's
They
low.
need like a little pillow there.
Yeah.
Von Mars got good bathrooms.
Von Mar does have nice bathrooms. But we'll save
hope
some of
so.
these. We'll save some of these for a weekly poop review.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Yeah, we don't want to give away all.
You
of
know
our-
what I think we need to
all
do?
the good
I think
info
we need
out
to
there.
focus on like also like where not to poop. Like you don't
pants.
poop here.
Did you ever like stop, like you're on a trip and you stop to use a bathroom, like at a gas station, just to pee or whatever, and then you always felt like you had to buy something, like you felt guilty?
Yeah.
No.
I have
Yeah.
felt.
I
guilty
always
before.
used to when I used to drive around like in like go to small towns and work on copiers and shit. I'd stop and have like,
No, I don't feel guilty.
here's
at
a
all.
when you could still buy the 25-cent pack of like
Yeah.
Big Red. I'd be like, but then some of the gas stations had like a back door you could come in and it was right by the bathroom. Then I just skate out.
No, I don't give a fuck. They have
I
a
think the
bathroom.
places probably places not to poop
It's
when they.
supposed to, it usually says on the door, "No public restroom, customers only." You know.
Yeah.
In
I
small
have been a
towns.
customer before, probably.
Previously, he's talking about a small town though.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
I think,
what are they gonna do? Chase me? I gotta piss. Like I'll pee outside. If you
I think your first sign of where not to go to the bathroom is when you have to go ask for the bathroom key, and it's attached to like a large block
Wooden
of wood.
spoon.
Yeah, that's probably where you should not.
Out around back.
So we were grabbing a couple like stocking things. There's a couple like cool stores in downtown Omaha. It's like City Limits and like Ashley's. They have some like hot sauce. Like Ashley's has a ton of hot sauces. They're pretty cool, but good luck pissing downtown Omaha.
Yeah.
Because of all the freaking like homeless people, they like no one has a fucking bathroom. Or they won't let you in it because if they do, then they have to let other people in it. So I had to go buy a fucking scooters so I could use the code to get in there because I was just gonna pee outside, which there are enough like people sleeping on the streets
Just
that
pee on them.
no, but like I did see the first time I've ever saw it. There was a fucking random porta potties downtown because obviously they need them.
Yeah.
I'm like, I have never seen a fucking porta potty just sitting downtown when there wasn't like an event going on. This is just a new feature of downtown.
Yeah, you got to keep those fucking bums going.
That was very politically correct of you.
Fucking homeless people are the worst.
They're unhoused.
Fucking hate homeless people.
unhoused individuals.
You know the homeless people I don't mind. If you're like legitimate,
That's a pretty hot take there, bud. Like I hate homeless people.
I do because you know what? You know how many of those people are fucking getting government aid and whatnot and probably could work. I had an old client of mine had a plumbing business. Guy was asking for money by Home Depot. Gave him a card. He's like, "Hey man, we're always looking for like labor guys." I'm not about that. Fuck that, dude. If you're like legitimately maybe have like a mental issue, you know, like some of these people do, or like
A
we're talking
lot of
about
them
these
do.
veterans.
I mean, you can view.
You can't
the
call it a mental issue because you decided just to fucking not stop drinking vodka from the bottle for fucking a month. You can't. That's not a mental issue. And they offer treatment down there. Am I right?
They do offer treatment down there, but it's very hard to get in. It's. I think that's another argument that alcoholism could be a mental health issue. But I do somewhat agree with you about how those guys aren't out there collecting money to eat. They're collecting money to buy booze and
Yeah.
Well,
That's why I work.
yeah. I
So-
mean,
That's the whole reason I have a job.
so like I've volunteered at like soup kitchens and I've handed out meals and done all this stuff. And
Yeah, there's good people, but there's a lot of people that choose to be homeless, and that's a very
But-
weirdly perceived thing.
it's so it is odd. Most of the homeless people, like 90% of homeless people, are men. And I think that a lot of them just hit a fucking breaking point, or something fucked up happened, and they just said fuck it, and they can just live on the street and be fine. Like, but there's a bet when I was volunteering, they said like you never give money to a homeless person unless you know they're just going to go buy alcohol with it, because everybody in Omaha, everybody in Lincoln has a potential for a bed. There are enough beds and meals for everybody. The problem is that you have to be sober.
Exactly.
Like you can't do drugs and alcohol.
So that's my saying, especially after having Kelly on here and talking about it. Like you have to make that decision that you want to.
You can be drunk at the Santa Francis house. They will. That is not a dry shelter.
But can you drink while you're there?
You cannot drink while you're there.
That's what
but
I'm saying,
They will
like-
take you if you're drunk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
But
You have to.
some of the like the open door and the Stevens Center, they will not take you if you're intoxicated or under the influence of anything else. But the Francis house will. But a lot of those guys don't want to go to the Francis house because what's going to happen is they're going to go down there, they're going to get drunk, and then they're going to get all their stuff stolen because they're drunk and they passed out, and all the other homeless guys are like, oh, well, let's see what he's got. That's what happens. And that's why they don't want to go down there.
Yeah, there's especially like I said in Omaha and Lincoln, there's opportunities for a lot of these people to do better, and you have to make that choice. Like I said, like Kelly said, it's a choice you have to make.
It is.
And like we talked about yesterday, dude, being homeless is like actually the ultimate form of freedom. Like you got nobody, you don't rely on anybody.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like we do have a big mental health problem.
I 100% agree with that.
And I think the government and pharmaceutical companies are just fucking up by not allowing other treatments. Like I was talking about this yesterday.
Well, there's
like,
not money in people being better.
right, but like how think about this what you will, but like dosing shrooms, I think could be very helpful. I think there's studies that show it's helpful in basically resetting your brain instead of just taking any of these other pills that can fuck you up. Like a lot of those antidepressants, if you drink on them, there's a good chance you're going to kill yourself, or you're going to have terrible dreams, or you're going to go into like all kinds of other things. Like you have to be very careful when you're taking them. And a lot of these people, like, I'm sorry, they already have mental problems. Like they're not going to be fucking careful. So I think you can do some other things. I think psychedelics would help a shit ton with mental health. I was listening to this guy and he said like PTSD. We're all familiar with it, right? But basically take something that was a terrible event in your life, okay? And what you felt like immediately in your short-term memory. The problem with PTSD is it never gets filed into your long-term memory. So what you were feeling 5, 10 minutes later, an hour later, a day later is what you're always thinking about. So if you had like something terrible happen to you and it's just sitting there, like it's hard to fucking get over. What psychedelics can do is they create neuroplasticity, which basically refires your brain. So you grow new connections. So basically like going on like a ayahuasca trip or microdosing shrooms or doing DMT or something can basically rewire your brain and move that memory from short term to long term. Like how many people would that help? And they've done a ton of it on veterans. And even right wing no drugs Nancy Reagan conservatives have funded this research for millions of dollars, but they can only do it on veterans. And they have seen huge changes. But Pfizer can't make fucking money on fucking mushrooms.
Well, and I think whichever you want to call the proper name for it, but the old insane asylums, I'm
Yeah.
sure there's a better name for them now, whatever. But when
Nut houses?
when they close those down, I think taking some of the tax money we spend on other things that we send other places, why not have facilities like that for these people to have these treatments or do different things, you know what I mean? And people with actual mental illnesses that need help and need a place to stay. I'm not talking like Emmanuel or the mental wards of the hospitals.
But who pays for that?
We're already
It's
paying
probably
for
the
it.
same money that's going to Ukraine. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
I saw a thing that
why don't
like,
you skim some off the top from Ukraine and fucking
well, I
build
saw a thing that California spends like they allot like $800 million for homeless whatever.
Did you see that
You
program?
could build a nice mental health hospital, whatever you want to call it, for $800 million.
for their little program to rehouse homeless people cost an average of $90,000 a person. They rehoused 240 some 200 some homeless people for some astronomical amount of money. I'm like, oh, that is government efficiency at its finest. I mean, that's the way it works.
But I think
But RFK, so I'm not a big, I mean, I like him, but like I disagree with like, I don't know, 90% of what he says. But he was talking about in Italy, what they do is that they have these camps that you go to, and basically they take people out there and you're out in nature and you have to like you farm and you learn a skill and you grow your own food and you do these things and you have tasks every day and you're just away from the hustle and bustle of everything. And that's how they get people like sober, giving them a task to do, having them learn skills and take care of themselves and just be away from everything and just kind of be connected out in the country. And they have a very high success rate doing that. He talked about doing that with money here.
well, that old saying, I mean, the idle hands of the devil's playground. I mean, that's been a saying that's been on forever.
Yeah,
you know?
but if you had to wake up and go farm and then harvest your stuff, and I mean, obviously they can't do all of it, but and then cook your own meals and learn how to eat healthy and just like have a daily routine and not be around all the electronics and all the chaos and all the other things and all the bad influences that are out there. Like, I think that makes more sense, especially with
And I think you can get
substance abuse.
people on any political side to, if you're trying to get someone in a positive direction, instead of we just keep putting money into helping people stay homeless. You know what I mean? Like they're not doing any of this money isn't trying to get people not homeless.
No, it's because they want people dependent on stuff, and it's the pharmacrats that freaking.
But yeah,
run
I just
everything.
hate the homeless people who aren't trying to not be homeless.
Yeah,
Like, it's that's my.
I think you
dislike
should.
of
I think
homeless
you should sit down and talk to a homeless person. I've done it several
I have
times.
a guy that actually works for me next door was homeless.
Yeah.
And he was living in California, and a bunch of stuff kind of hit all at the same time, basically. Lost everything, but he did everything he could to get back. And it was interesting. He said he would save his money, he would panhandle, and he would buy a bus pass and a gym membership. Because he could sleep on the bus, and it was safe. He was in Southern California, but he could do a longer bus route. He could sleep on it. He could go to the gym and shower. And so if he could get like a job interview, he could at least be showered.
Yeah.
So he always tried to keep a bus pass and a gym membership. And then he got back on his feet. So, I mean, what a place to be homeless, Southern California.
There are a lot of people who are homeless that are trying not to be.
Yeah,
But
and I love that. That's great.
and there are just some people that are just so far down the road that they're not savable.
Right, they've
And
given
it-
up. They're all like half a step from even just suicide.
Well, I'm sure the people down at these homes are, like they know that like, hey, this is Larry. Larry's been down here for 10 years.
Yeah.
Like Larry's not going anywhere. But then there are people on the flip side that just like you said, some really like a bunch of shitty things happen at one time and they just bottomed out. And that's where like it's nice to like you can help those people. I think sometimes we get in this thing of like, well, everyone on welfare is just milking the system. Well, 50% of people on welfare aren't. So is it worth helping 50% of people to have 50% of shitbags? Like that's what you have to determine.
Yeah. Yeah, and I guess it's all kind of, it's always the holiday season too. Everybody always talks about, helping the homeless eat and stuff like that. And like I say, that'd be great. But and I feel like some of those places probably know, and I don't say you want to single somebody out, but like the people who are like, hey, that guy's, we got these funds allocated to help him out. We're not giving them to this guy. Why? Because he's, there's got to be like a 3-strike system or something. You know what I mean? Like we're not going to try to help you anymore because it's obviously not your thing.
We'll give Larry a meal, but like the extra funds to try it, like Larry's not going.
We tried it once and he just, whatever. Kind of the 3
You
strikes.
could be like that next meal could be the one that turns it around. I mean, look at the number of times that people go to rehab and they relapse.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I mean, like I love Jason Peters' book. Like you guys read that Underground Hero. Like he went to rehab 4 times, 5 times. And like the one he ended up in was not the best one that he had. It just happened to be the right time and he got the right influence and things like aligned and it happened. So I don't think it's like quite as easy as having like a 3-strike rule.
But yeah, I just as an example. Yeah,
but having, there's some kind of expectation to it and getting something out of them, right? I mean, we did it around the Great Depression, right? We're like, hey, we got to build roads. And there's a bunch of people that need money. So let's hire them to build roads. Let's hire them to do stuff. You learn.
And I even think like you talk about the welfare system, and we've talked about it before. I think you could structure the welfare system to help, hey, we'll give you this amount of money, but you have to be enrolled in like a trade school. or some kind of schooling. We'll pay for your schooling. You have to maintain a whatever GPA. And then when you're done with school, based on that job demographic or need for it, we'll keep paying to get you on your feet so you can get this job and get going, and then we'll slowly taper you off.
Well, that's my problem with the welfare system. It's not designed to get people off. It's designed to keep people on.
I think if you
So-
designed to get them off and educate them and teach them a trade or whatever, you know what I mean? Something.
So I knew
Been that
people
way for a long time, though.
Yeah, I
It's
know.
not gonna change it.
I knew people that would I knew this lady, and she had 2 kids, and she basically did not take a pay raise, or she kept getting promoted. So her job kept going up, her response, but she didn't take a pay raise for 3 years because it would the one pay raise would put her over to where she would lose all of her benefits, and she couldn't afford that. So she kept working her ass off and getting promoted, and thankfully her boss was nice and worked with her on this, and then basically gave her 3 years of raises at once, banked them for her. So when she got to the point where she could live on her own and she could afford to be off the system, then she took the money. But why don't we just say, hey, when you get to point X and you're making X amount of dollars, for the next 6 months you get full benefits. We're going to help you with this. We're going to help you balance your budget. This is what it's going to look like. You're going to lose 25% of your benefits in 6 months. At 6 months, hey, you have another 6 months for 75% of your benefits, and you're going to lose 25%. And just taper them down to help them. And if at any point in time things get weird, pause it. If I have to pause you at 50% for a fucking year, you know what that's better than? 100%.
Well, and you know what, with that, and I'd be even fine with that because, you know what, they're paying into their welfare.
Yeah.
At least they're paying taxes. They're contributing to their aid they're getting to an extent. At least they're trying to.
But one side of the aisle wants to keep people on it because they want people dependent on the system, and the other side of the aisle is like, "Fuck you if you can't do it on your own."
Yeah.
I think there's plenty of ways. Like I said, and I know you can basically get school paid for, but push them towards something, and then reward them, and then help them taper off. Not just like, oh, you got a full-time job. Fuck, see you later, dude.
Well, in Nebraska being I think Nebraska is a pretty well-run state where we have way too much property tax. But besides that, they passed that thing a couple years ago. They think anyone who your household income is under 50,000 or 59,000 or something in that neighborhood, your kids go to any UNO, UNK, or UNL for free, or a trade school, or SEC or whatever.
Like a state-funded school, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that's a great way. I don't think that everyone needs a 4-year fucking degree.
Well, and colleges are ridiculously expensive now.
Right.
They're stupid. Because the federal government backs your tuition. So yeah, they can charge whatever they want.
Yeah. But yeah, there's ways that you could, like we said, in talking about this time of year, because that's when everybody always thinks about people that who are in need or help. But there could be less people in need or help if we just had a better way to fucking help them long term.
Help them help themselves.
I'll drop my 2 cents on the homeless thing. So the homeless thing I think is the biggest issue is I've seen the homeless population get younger. So what happens is these kids, they grow up, they have tough lives, they get older, they burn all their bridges, all their family's mad at them. Well, next thing you know, you're a bum living down on 17th Street, hanging out at the shelters. Then they teach you how to be a criminal. And then now you're a criminal who's also homeless, and then that's all you know. And then it keeps continuing on from there. Now, when I was a kid, I grew up in Omaha, and when I was a kid, there was 2 homeless people in the 80s, and you knew who they were. I don't know what's changed over the past 40 years and how it's so different now. And I also think that there's a little bit of mental illness in a lot of these guys, and then they start doing some meth, drinking a bunch, and then the mental illness blossoms, and then now they have high mental illness, so they can't hold a job, can't do anything, and all they know is that they can go out and panhandle, get a little bit of money, get some more booze, buy some meth for some dude down at the Francis house, sleep somewhere, and then it just keeps going on like that. Now, to help those guys, the system is super broken because there's not enough places for them to go, and then a lot of them are very violent. So then the places that they can go, they can't go anymore because they're not welcome there anymore. So I think the system needs to be fixed to be able to deal with violent people that have mental illness. Because what happens when you take someone with mental illness to a facility and someone gets assaulted there, that person goes to jail. But they were already somewhere where they needed to be helped, right? But now that person's going to jail. So what happens when they get out of jail? They're homeless again.
Yep.
And they're not at their spot, and they're not welcome to go back there. So something needs to change with the system. Otherwise, it's just going to keep growing, and we're just going to keep digging our hole. And the homeless population is going to keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
Now, do you
And
think
what's
that'd be
something
like we
changed?
said if we
Great
brought back?
Christmas time topic.
Yeah.
I don't know how we got on it, but it is a good topic.
But now, do you think if we had,
we
like
are
you-
just we're kind of smart too for being big dumb bourbon drinking media.
But now, like you said, though, do you think like if, like I said, bring back the insane asylum, the proper term, whatever you want to call
Not
it,
half.
would that be better? Because you could take these violent people there
Yeah.
and have them in a more highly skilled, like the people at like the mental health floors of the hospitals, I feel like are probably not as trained as like people used to be that worked in like, you know, those places because they dealt with, you know, we always the old padded rooms, but that's where they put the like aggressive.
That needs, so, yeah, because they're not there long enough to get help. You know what I mean? They're violent. They end up doing
And
something.
you need a support system afterwards. Like,
Yeah.
going back to Kelly's story, like he attributes some of his success coming out is like he still had support system when he came out. And so if you have nothing and you go there and you get all the best treatment that you can and you're right as rain, but you don't have any support afterwards, like that all
well, those
falls on you.
places could have like
Like,
their
they
own like
could.
group.
That's and you
Because
start to have
like you
sponsors.
said, a lot of people burn their bridges.
Yeah.
Right. But you can build a new family.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you really can. Like if you can be around people that a sponsor that you don't even really know, and then all of a sudden you have a connection. So yeah, like if you took like your idea of having the insane asylums and just made sure that these people like went somewhere, and then when they were okay or better, that they could come back and they had their group every night or whatever, that they could talk.
almost like an AA group or something.
Yeah.
They could get together and like
Probably something called like the Hospital for the Unhoused and Mentally Ill Population of the world, and then they would call
that sounds better than insane asylum.
Yeah,
that's why I said there's a better term.
Yeah,
Well, and
and
like
something like that.
And the same thing like Chris said, like, and people also talk about, oh, I feel sorry for that guy for being homeless. Do you know how many bridges you have to burn to be homeless? You don't have like a friend that you can sleep on their fucking couch. You know what I mean? Like, you
That's
have
what
to
I'm saying.
try
The
to be
problem is-
homeless, kind of, to an
Well,
extent.
They have a little bit of mental
Sometimes,
illness.
not always.
They do some meth, and then the mental illness is like, poof.
You could burn a lot of bridges. People could
Yeah.
burn a lot of bridges.
No, I know, but I'm saying you burned a lot. Like, think about all the people, anybody even listening, think about all the people you know that you would have to burn through.
Yeah, but I think sometimes those people are already a little bit isolated.
They already have probably a real small circle.
They probably have a small or non-existent circle to begin with. I think if they had a big support system, that maybe they wouldn't have.
Yeah. And like I said, overall, the whole conversation, I think there's things that could help these people.
Yeah.
Like I said, I hate anybody who doesn't try. That's what I should say about hating homeless people. I hate people who don't put any fucking effort in and
Yeah.
you choose to be, and then you act like people owe you something. If you're not going to put any effort in, nobody fucking owes you anything. You know, that's like a saying all the time, nicey. But if you don't put any effort of your own in, no one's going to put any effort into you.
Right.
Like no one owes you anything for anything.
So New Year's resolution, put some effort in.
This conversation leads up exactly to the story I wanted to talk about.
Okay.
Oh, great.
Perfect.
Nailed it.
God, we transitioned
Right?
well.
So I was at Hy-Vee buying more Golden Sheaf and a bunch of Crown, and I was waiting.
We do
for
not have an alcohol problem, by the way.
No, no. And so I'm waiting for them to bring these bottles because, like Brett saw, like the bottles were super dusty, so they were like in the back, probably forgotten about. They had to dig them out. And so they're coming up, and I'm waiting, and there's an older lady who's up there, and she's got like her wallet's just splayed all over the counter, and she's like going through different cards and calling the bank, trying to pay for her groceries that were $51.73. And so I'm sitting here, and she's going through this. She's talking to the bank and talking to the lady and stuff, and so I just go up to her. I'm like, "Hey, man," not "Hey, man," but I was like, "Ma'am, like, can I just get this for you? Like, it's Christmas time.
I've done the same
Do this right? Oh, cool." And so I'll get that, and she'd be like, "Oh, that would be wonderful." And so I'm like, "Cool. Fortunate enough, like $50. Cool. Do that." And she just takes her grocery cart and just walks off.
Based on her answer, I thought that's how that was going to go.
Yeah. And so I'm like,
Most people would have been like, "No, you don't have to, sir. I appreciate
well, like
that."
I've done it before. Like it's something that I just do because we can, right? And it's nice to help people out. And I was thinking about it on the way over, and like I've been to that spot where I'm like, come on. And most of the time that was at the bar when I was younger, so it wasn't.
And
Like
it always
trying
follows
to,
up with a yes.
Right? Go to the ATM like you're playing a slot machine.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna hit
But
big
a lot
today.
of people like you do it because they can, right? To help out and kind of make things a little better. And yeah, like if she had just turned around and she was just like, "Oh my God, thank you so much," something. That's all it takes, and like fine. But the fact that she was just like, "Yeah, that'd be great," and then like, "No, thank you." She thanked the gal for ringing her up, and then like walked off.
So,
And I was immediately just pissed and wanted to
Yeah.
push her down.
Did the girl that checked you out think she was a piece of shit too?
She did afterwards? She goes, "Oh, she comes in here every week and does this." And so at first I'm like, all right, I've been suckered by people like that before, but it's like, hey, if they're grateful, cool. Like, I'm okay to help that out. But the fact that she was like not really grateful, and I sound like an asshole saying she wasn't grateful enough, but like there was no grace in it. It was just like,
it doesn't sound like she was great.
yeah, she was like, all right, cool, and then walked off.
So the shittiest part about that is that next time that happens, you're hesitant to do it.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's the shittiest part about when you feel that way, or when
Yeah.
someone scams you, or like when someone says, "Hey, I need food," and like I've just went and bought a sandwich for him, and they're like, I don't really want that.
What was that scary movie? I said a sandwich, you bitch.
Yeah, you know, like they wanted
Yeah.
money. They wanted money for booze or whatever.
Yeah.
They didn't actually want food because I gave them a sandwich.
Yeah.
you know. But for every time that happens, there's 10 other times that it didn't happen. So I
Right.
try and focus on those 10 other times.
Exactly.
Because, or you just fucking drive yourself
Yeah.
crazy.
Like in the long run, it's been like a rewarding thing to have done over the years. But it's like those little instances of I'm like, fuck you and fuck everyone else that needs help. And like
You gotta be
immediately pissed
gotta be
little
a
bit.
quick blinker and forget
and then
about
you're
that
like,
shit. Yeah.
All right, they're a fuckhead. Not everyone's a fuckhead. I mean, most of us are, but this thing in particular was a special.
So
So she
talking
left her
about-
fucking cart in the parking lot.
She probably did.
Yeah, she probably
Yeah.
did.
Dude, someone left one against my truck the other day.
Oh,
Oh, dude.
I came out and it was like I parked next to the cart thing because I'll park next to it and then I just shove the cart thing over so it's not close to my truck. And then they left the cart like long ways, like pushed up against my tire on my truck.
Fucking dicks. So talking about you're like hoping your card goes. So like I was really poor growing up, and when I was like 20, 21, we were broke as fuck. Like broke. 21 years old, already had a kid, already had made some terrible life choices that made my life harder than it needed to be. And I would go, it's like, and that was before, like I'm old at 44. So you couldn't just like go on your app and see if you had money.
Right,
you
go to
had-
an ADM, check balance.
No, like I would literally go to the grocery store and I would be like, okay, ring this up first.
Let me buy it.
Yeah. And then this part will ring up second and we'll try and buy that. You know? So like you'd swipe your card, you're like, whew. But then so this was years and years later when they came up with the chip cards. That first fucking noise when you put your chip card, the approval noise was bam, bam, bam. And the first time that went off, I was like, looking like that didn't fucking decline. No, that's the approval noise. That needs to change. That gave me PTSD. Like I was like, what the fuck?
Fucking Dirtbag Tanner back in action.
Right.
Well, I don't know. We were poor, like poor. Like we would go to the grocery store. I'd take my kids to the grocery store so they could get a free cookie. Like we just walk through and not really buy anything, go back and get the free cookie.
No, I was only poor because I was stupid.
Oh no, I was poor because I was poor.
Well, I had some really good friends and we drank a lot.
I was not good with money in college in the slightest. Not in the fucking slightest.
I wasn't good with money when I was in my 20s, early 20s either.
As soon as it hit the fucking pocket, boom, what do we get?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
I bought things though. I didn't go to the bar and spend a bunch of money. I
went
bought
to the bar, like,
things.
I bet
Bought food.
I bet. So when I
did.
Yeah, you did.
my early 20s
Have you seen?
and stuff, I bet like my roommates and I would go to the bar. We might go out Wednesday night. It was like 50-50 whether the weekend started on Wednesday, but it always started on Thursday. And we'd go Thursday, Friday, Saturday night, and oftentimes Sunday during the day for some Sunday fun day. And Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I bet averaging $200 a night. At least.
Wow.
And that was just for me because I just bought for myself. Like my roommates were like
You
buying
spent
for all the
$200 on yourself?
Dude, you've seen me drink. Like I'm pretty good at it.
Yeah, but you didn't have. There was like college bars, like penny pitchers. Like,
No.
where were you at? Is this at North Dakota?
No, we were back here. Like when I was in South Dakota,
South
we'd
Dakota?
go to the bar there and that'd be like $10 because it
Yeah.
was just like some shithole beer bar. But no, we go to like DJ's Dugout, sometimes the Green Onion.
At least the Green Onion, you knew you were going to get fucked
the
up.
Green Onion. Like so, because DJ's was across the street from the Green Onion, we'd always start at the Green Onion. We'd go in there and we each order like 3 or 4
Every
drinks
drink is just
and
burned.
just smoke them, and then we'd go across the street to DJ's.
yeah.
Sometimes go to the My Way.
Oh yeah, they had the ping pong tables in there, didn't
They
they?
had the ping pong table, shuffleboard. They had this old German Shepherd that just looked rough, like he'd been around since the mid 1500s.
Where they still had smoking in the bars.
Yep.
Yeah.
God, I wish my poor story was like your poor story. Like at least you had fun being poor.
I think I had fun. I don't remember.
I was fucking I'd like write checks to like the electric company and then just not sign it. And then they would call me like, "Oh, you forgot to sign your check." I'm like, "Oh,
Oh,
I'm sorry.
it.
I'll be down there. I'll come down." Then I wait till like my payday. I go down there and sign the check.
We did that paying bills at our house. We'd be like, all right, so this one's due this month, and so we just had like a bucket on the table.
Until there's a red stamp on it, you're fine.
Yeah, it'd be fine. Like our power got cut off a couple times because like the guy who was in charge of the supposed to be in charge of paying the bills was like the least responsible one out of all of us.
That was a bad nomination.
Yeah, it was terrible. But I think we had fun. I don't remember.
I assume for $200 a night, I would hope you had fun.
No shit.
I don't know.
Was
I
that
know-
food too?
Usually not. No.
Dude, where were you
Jesus.
working that you had
Just
$600
beer?
a weekend just
beer,
to
or you
fucking
drink
put
hard
down?
alcohol too.
I was making. I think I started with Mutual of Omaha at that time, so I think my salary was $36,000 a year.
Fucking, you're balling at that time too.
Just-
Was that like 2003?
2007.
Adjusted for inflation, that's like $90,000.
I mean, it was really good. I came from working at a moving
How the fuck
company.
did you spend $200
That's
at
what
a
I'm
bar
saying. Was
in
it just-
2006?
Was it just beer, or was you?
No, like some beer, mixed drinks, shots.
And you weren't
Oh,
buying for other
stuff.
people?
No, it
Okay,
was just
let's
me.
just say that. Let's just say it's
Oh,
10.
dude.
Were you tipping waitresses trying to get laid?
No.
Okay, so at $10 a drink, which is
He drank a case of beer by himself not that
I know,
long
but
ago.
at $10 a drink, that is 20 drinks.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ!
He never said he's good at drinking.
He
That's why he
is.
stopped for a while.
You're like a
$10
professional.
a drink. That probably wasn't how
No, it
much
wasn't.
it
It
was.
was probably.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
In
He's probably
2000,
drinking 40 drinks a night.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I say that's probably average, but there'd be nights that it might be less, but there were definitely nights that it'd be more.
you're impressive.
I bet the one I sticks out was like 387, something like that.
Holy shit.
Was my beer. Yeah. I mean, granted, we started at like 3 or 4 on a Friday.
Oh, that's so early.
So we just had
Yeah.
longer to drink. But
Yeah, but the bar's closed at 1 then.
That's
maybe.
I watched the interview. Tucker Carlson did an interview with John Daly and Kid Rock, and he's talking to John Daly and about how many Diet Cokes he would drink, and he was like, "Oh, I usually drink like 22 in a day." And he's like, "After I got bladder cancer, I went to Clear Liquids, so I started drinking his Good Boy drinks, which had vodka in them." Mm-hmm. And Tucker's like, "How many of those do you drink?" I've had like 40 of these in a day. He's like, 40 of those? 40 vodka seltzer drinks.
Dude, John Daly is an athlete.
my
John Daly is like a
roommate,
reverse athlete.
My second year in college, my sophomore year in college, my roommate, and we would get a 30 rack of Keystone Light at the time,
Obviously.
especially lime
The Stones.
cans, right? And then we'd get a 750 of turkey, and like that would
Gross.
be what we drink for the night. It was rough.
We used to drink Natural Light because it was cheap.
Ugh.
$8.97 a case at Super Saver and Council Bluffs.
We drank Busch Light because it was cheap.
What are you, wealthy? You drink Busch? You drink a
Yeah.
name brand beer?
It was cheap. It was cheap at the
Shit.
liquor store, and it was the liquor store I could buy. I was 18, and it was the liquor store I could buy at.
If we were in high school or college and somebody showed up with like a Busch Light or Bud Light, I was like, "Are you of wealth?"
Shit, right?
I did drink a lot of
You
Mad Dog
well.
2020.
yeah.
Oh, the rich kid just got here. You got Busch
Yeah.
Light.
We bought like some grocery store was going out of town or out of business, and I don't know, Podunk, South Dakota, and we went out there to buy a bunch of booze, and they had cases of Old English 40s.
Oh, dude.
And
Oh,
so we bought a pallet of that. It's like drinking cold vomit. It's so bad.
Oh,
But you drank
Colt,
Oh yeah,
Colt 45.
Yeah.
Colt
We had
45.
that. We had Hurricane, Cobra, Steel
Hurricane,
Reserve.
the
Like,
King
we did all the
Cobra.
bad stuff.
Colt 45.
Yeah.
Colt 45 is like Old Milwaukee. It's not bad until the aftertaste.
Yeah.
The worst beer I've ever had in my entire life was the Kirkland beer. The
Oh, from
Costco beer when
Costco,
they came
yeah.
out for a
Did they
while.
fuck up a beer?
You could buy
I
a
don't drink.
48 pack of it for like $25. And it was so bad. Like if it was ice cold, almost frozen, you could get like maybe half a can down before it had flavor again, and you're like, oh! You just have to get rid of it. It was so bad.
So what, you did shotgun them all then?
No, we'd take them. When we go like tubing down the Elkhorn, we'd start off and we would king like, I don't know, case of Busch Light, but like something like that. And so you'd get like pretty liquored up on that. And then you'd switch over to
The
the
Kirkland.
Kirkland because it'd be like on ice. And you just like, by that time, like when you're drinking, like you have a pace. And then right before shit hits the fan, like your pace escalates and then you tank. And so it's during that escalation that you drink the Kirkland.
I've never switched ammunition halfway through a mission.
I wouldn't recommend it. It's bad. It's real bad. But
So here's the real question. On when you go to name this podcast, what are you doing with it?
I don't know. It's probably just poop ratings and homeless people.
We only did like 3 poop ratings though.
Well, I know, but we're gonna start.
yeah, we'll figure it out.
But I know we do, and everybody does always talk about the holiday season. I mean, if you want to help people out, you don't have to wait till the holiday season.
You really don't.
Yeah, and you know it's.
Actually, the holiday season is the time where everyone's helping everybody out. You should do it like when everyone forgot.
And it
do
doesn't
in
have to be
February,
monetarily.
March.
Like there's just manners in general. Hold the door for somebody. Like just fucking do something. You know what I mean? It's
Like, be a good person when no one's looking.
Have you
Yeah.
found out? Have you seen recently, like when you hold the door for somebody, a lot of people, especially like younger people, are like surprised.
And they don't say anything.
Dude,
No, a lot of times they'll say thank you, but they're just like
A lot of
shocked.
times they don't say anything.
I get that. So I travel for work and I've got to go to like big cities now and like hold the door open for folks. And they're just like, what? And it's
Yeah.
usually like women in their mid 50s and on are like, you're from the Midwest. And I'm like, yeah.
I'm kind of a
And,
nice
that's the
asshole
giveaway.
because if I hold the door for you, you don't say thank you when you're walking around like, "Hey, you're welcome." So I mean, that's I immediately get pissed off when I do something. I would have
Yeah.
been mad if I'd have been Matt and did that. I would
See,
immediately get pissed off when I hold the door for somebody.
I just try to let
Yesterday I
that
was
shit-
pissed and I wanted to go like slash her tires and like beat her up and take all her Canada Dry ginger ale. And
You just gotta let that shit
Smash
roll
it.
off.
Right,
Like, are you doing it for a thank you, or are you doing it because it's the right thing?
I did it because it was the right thing. Like, I
Yeah.
would have.
So, are you doing it for a thank you? Doing it for
But
the
you know
right
what
thing?
sucks though is after that girl said it, then it wasn't really the right thing because that girl tries to scam somebody every week.
It's
you know
fine,
what I mean?
but
Right, but for me,
Matt,
like-
Yeah,
but
but for
Matt's,
you-
Matt's
from his
place,
perspective,
Matt's,
it was
Matt's
the right thing.
mindset and
Yeah.
heart were in the right place. So
Like,
if
I'll
that's
still
what
do
it is,
but
if
you
that's
do
what
need
it
that
is,
like
yeah.
5-minute drive over here in the car. Where I'm like, fuck that bitch, fuck helping people, fuck the human race. They're the worst.
Yeah.
Then I'm
You
like, all right, you're done, Matt? Yeah, I'm done.
And you talk about big cities. When Amber did Fashion Week in New York a couple years, so she would have to go to class, like a runway makeup class, and then I would just kind of walk around the city. And Drew Dobrik told me, he's like, he'd been out there. He's like, dude, it's like the Manhattan Shuffle. Like everybody stares at the ground and they just walk. So you want to throw people off. You're like, hey, how's it going? And they just like are completely blown away. They're like, what? Oh, hey, hi. Like then they like look completely shocked. Like when you're like someone's nice to them. Like, cause no one talks. They just like shuffle around.
No, there's a lot of people. It's generally fast paced. I'll say I haven't encountered like really rude people in any of the cities I've gone to lately.
No, they're not rude. They're not like they're
It's-
not chatty.
They're just like inert. They're just objects more than they are people
NPCs.
walking around.
Actually,
Just
Tucker
NPCs.
Tucker talked about this. He was because he lived in the city and he moved out of the country, and he's like he'd go to the store, you know, like smaller store, and like people would talk to him, and at first he was like fucking annoyed by it.
Yeah.
Like, why are you talking to me? I have shit to do. And then he's like, no, that's why I moved out here. Like I moved out here so like I could like
Is he,
Right.
is he in Florida now?
I don't think so.
Oh, I don't know.
I've been in New York City a couple times, and I'm not a big crowd person, but for some reason, I was in New York City when it was not as violent as it is now. But for some reason, I really like that city. I like the
The smell of bums and pee in the morning.
smell like it smelled like fried food and garbage a lot of times in the city. But I don't know, it's just something about the vibe of the city. I actually liked it there. I didn't mind it.
Me and my buddy went out there in 2003. And we went out. The PGA Championship was in Jersey, and his dad had like tickets to it, so we were going out there for a golf because I'm a nerd. But we were down in Manhattan, and we were like drinking and doing stuff, and we asked the guys like, "Where would you go? If like, where do locals go?" And they're like, I can't remember the name of the place, but it had he's like, go around the corner, and there's a giant like pig statue. Like, go in there. We freaking walk in there. The whole bar singing "Living on a Prayer" when we walk in. We freaking belly up at the bar. The bartenders buy themselves pizza, just drop us off a couple slices. We're drinking there all night. It's like 4 a.m. Like fucking hammered, stumbling back to the subway to go back to Jersey. We come walking up, and there's like these. It's like those row houses. And there's like 5 guys sitting up on the step, and there's like 2 guys with a hood up on like a Cadillac Escalade, you know, that has like giant rims on it. It's all decked out. And my fucking buddy, who, mind you, couldn't fix a fucking thing. He couldn't change his oil if he had to. I'm surprised he can pump his own gas. Okay, like
Doesn't have to in Jersey.
Yeah, he is not mechanically inclined. They're under the hood. He goes, "What's going on here?" And I'm like, "Oh fuck, this is how we die."
This is how it die. Yeah, this is how it ends.
Like there's like these 5 big dudes sitting up on this, like it's like from a fucking movie, and I'm like, and he's like talking, and I'm like, oh dude, yeah, that's the carburetor. Like, Yeah, that's or fuel injector. I just made something up. I'm like, yeah, that's it. Just try that. Like you'll be good. I grab him, like, get the fuck out of here. Like I am not dying at 4 o'clock in the morning in New York City because you decided you were a fucking mechanic for a day.
The thing about the city also was I'm there and I'm like looking around, waiting for someone to try to mug me or something. But all the people that live there are, like you said, they're just like
Tunnel vision.
they don't pay attention to their surroundings at all. But I never once felt unsafe there. But I haven't been there since.
Well, you can't at that
know.
time. When did you go?
It was probably 2016.
And we were there 2013 and 14, I think. But you couldn't swing a dead cat without hitting a cop there.
Yeah, it was.
I mean, they're everywhere. We were there right after like Hurricane Sandy the one year.
In 2003, we were there. Like our subway where we were staying in Jersey City, so we came across the bay, and our exit was the Trade Center. So when you came out, the rubble was still there. The cross, the where the beams were, it was still there. So people were friendly. Like people were talking, and they weren't.
Right. It was still fresh. Yeah.
It was still like, because remember after 9/11, everyone, like, the country came together.
September 12th was like the best day ever.
Yeah, everyone loved each other.
Right. We're like, oh wait, we're all the same. Okay, cool.
Yeah. And actually, that's a good way to close it. We're all the same. Help everybody out. Everybody's the same. I don't care. Fucking whatever it is, it doesn't matter.
And if you don't get thank you, it's okay.
Fuck them people.
For a little bit.
If you don't get thank you, it's okay. You're
Right.
doing the right thing. You're not doing it for a thank you. You're doing it because you're a good person.
Right. Like it's okay to be mad for a little bit.
It's okay to pay it forward.
Yeah.
Unless you're in Starbucks and someone says this person paid for you, well, good. I'm not
Okay,
paying.
thanks.
Yeah, that shit pisses me off. Like if you want to help someone out at Starbucks, all of you fuckers are there paying $8 for a coffee.
Hey, fuck you. Somebody paid for mine, so I paid for the person behind me.
You're a fucking idiot. If
I'm
you
not.
want to help,
I felt good about it.
If you want to help somebody,
God, look at this piece of shit.
if you want to help somebody, tip the person working for $12 an hour,
Everyone's buying
$10.
an $8 coffee at Starbucks. Oh, I'm going to buy the person's behind me. Oh, yeah, well, theirs is like $75. Oh, never mind.
The best approach is, hey, how much is theirs back there?
I'll pay for half.
Yeah.
You all made the choice to go
that too.
spend $8 on a coffee.
I don't
like it
usually-
wasn't.
I
You're not.
rarely go to
You're not
Starbucks.
helpful by saying,
But-
"Oh, that bougie person behind me who's
Hold on.
also spending $8 on a coffee."
Hold on. That person's $8 for coffee might be the same as that chick's fucking $50 grocery bill. It's all the same, dude.
Then
It's
you
all the
wouldn't go
fucking
through
same.
Starbucks.
Oh bullshit.
Bullshit.
Well, that's not.
It's all. I'm just saying it's
No,
all.
they-
It's
Are you
all
saying they
relative.
don't need help if they're at Starbucks?
Yes.
That's okay.
It's all relative.
You
You're a
don't
terrible
need help if
person.
you're buying $8 coffees.
You don't get to determine their need.
I do.
What store were you at, Matt?
It's my money
Today?
when this
Hy-Vee,
happened?
right?
Hy-Vee?
Hy-Vee.
Yeah.
Oh, why weren't they at Aldi's?
Yeah.
because Aldi has shit food.
I'm just saying it's cheaper. So here's what I'm saying: just because somebody chooses to go somewhere, it's no
Could've been
different.
at
It's-
It
Safeway.
is. Like here's the thing. I am not going to help you if you're buying $8 coffees. Now, I will tip the person, the barista. I'll tip them $10 because they need it more than the person behind
Well, you're
me.
not
They're
helping them.
How
You're
do
just,
you know?
you're just buying them a gift. You're just being nice. Hey, I'm gonna
Maybe that's their
cover their
second
coffee.
job.
Yeah,
Maybe they're just fucking hanging out.
I'm just not doing it
because it's all.
I don't.
rel-
I don't drive through and get coffees anyways. So
it's all
I'm not
relative.
that
That,
person.
lady maybe should have been shopping at Hy-Vee then.
Right.
Maybe she bought all fucking generic shit. And
I doubt it.
She
everything,
did not. It was all name
and
brand. I
everything
saw
on,
it.
on
Have you ever
perks.
seen anybody at a fucking grocery store on food stamps that's not buying name brand stuff?
How do you,
You
know?
don't have food stamps out there.
How do you know that people aren't on food stamps anymore? They're on fucking credit cards.
Because usually they have their stacks of Mountain Dew bottles laid across the top of the cart
So
to
do you.
hold them
That's
all.
what she did with her Canada Dry. It's fine.
Fucking nailed it. Told you.
She did
Anyway,
have one of the little mini carts. It was
despite
fine.
what Tanner said, it's okay to pay it forward to help people out.
Not at Starbucks, but everywhere else.
Yeah.
At Scooters.
Yeah.
Now, help where you want.
Yeah. Help whoever you want.
Yeah.
It's okay if you've been successful or blessed enough to be
I
successful
feel-
in life, then you can help people out and do
I
what you
find it
can.
very amusing that you're all judging on me for not buying someone a Starbucks coffee, but you started this whole conversation out with "I fucking hate homeless people,"
and I justified and said why.
and I'm telling you, I justified and said why. If you chose to go buy $8 coffee, I'm not helping you out.
She shouldn't have shopped at Hy-Vee.
Fine.
That's what I'm saying. It's all the same.
Fine.
I
It's all
shouldn't have shopped
relative.
at Hy-Vee.
It's all I'm saying is it's all relative.
Although I did finally get like the Fuel Saver card, so I didn't go to Hy-Vee that often up until like probably the last like 6-7 months, and so a guy I worked with for the last 15 years had one of those Fuel Saver things, and so I would always give them his number whenever I went in.
Yeah.
He would just get all the stuff. And then I stopped, and he texted me. And so this is after I had left my old job to go to my new job. It was like 3 or 4 months later. And he was like, hey, man, what the fuck? He just sent me this text. And I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, my fuel saver points haven't gone up in like 3 months. What are you doing? And I was like, dude, I got my own. He's like, you fucking traitor.
That is
You
hilarious.
should have said, hey, here's my number. How about you pay it back, bro?
No, that's a total guy thing to do. Like, you're just doing something like.
Yeah, I
and
was
he-
like, someone should get credit for it. I don't
Yeah.
have one. I don't
And
come
he's like,
here.
this is
Did
cool.
you just change your fucking Netflix password?
Yeah, right.
What were you thinking? Like,
Anybody, anything else? No? All right, guys.
Have a Merry Christmas.
Well, this will be out after Christmas. We said last
I
week.
hope you had a Merry Christmas.
We hope you guys had a great Christmas. Like I said, it doesn't have to be the holiday season if you want to help somebody out. And we appreciate you guys listening. Like, subscribe, download, follow, leave comments, whatever you want to do. Like us or not, whatever. And we'll see you guys next time.